Hey, 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 welcome back to Why Not, the podcast with your host.
I'm Ben.
I hate when you do that, and I'm Rachel.
It makes sense.
It doesn't.
It makes
with
sense.
your host, you should know by the grammar that is so wrong.
It is. I'm Ben. And I'm Rachel.
With your host, Ben and Rachel.
Yeah, but it works either way.
No,
with your hosts,
no.
I'm Ben and I'm Rachel, and you're listening to the 6 o'clock news.
No.
That's what they do.
No.
Yeah, it sounds professional.
No.
Anyway, Rachel Hall, how are you today?
I'm okay, I'm really tired.
When we give you the good mic, Rach, the thing is you don't need to speak into the sound bit. See, we can hear that.
I'm okay, I'm tired, but we're getting there.
You're tired?
Yeah.
At 11:42. Grow up.
You always message me saying that you're tired and bored.
I'm tired as in emotionally tired, you know? I'm bored and I'm tired of being bored.
Well, that's a you issue.
It is. Well, thanks for asking. I'm great, Rach.
Yeah, give me a chance.
I did. I stayed silent for like 2 seconds. I watched the counter go up. I'm great. You meant to converse on a podcast.
You're great. Why are you great?
I don't know. It's a good morning. It's a Saturday. We normally record on a Sunday, but it's a Saturday today, so I'm, in an okay mood. I quite like Saturdays.
Good morning. Good morning.
They're normally days where I can do a lot, get a lot done.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Okay, tell the truth.
I can watch a lot of things on a Saturday.
We do nothing normally.
We
on a
watch
Saturday.
things.
Yeah, it's not very productive. It's a bit boring sometimes.
No, Saturdays are the days that get my weekly watch list together. Because I get to watch some stuff.
Okay.
Are you ready for the next bit that we do?
Mm-hmm.
Rach is slipping back into the mood that she's been
No,
in for the past
I'm
three
not.
episodes, clearly.
I'm
No.
not. I nearly threw my glass of Coke on you.
It's Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Don't lie. We want Pepsi to sponsor us, not Coke. Okay, Rachel, why don't you tell us what's coming up?
Coming up this week, it is the normal, every day,
Every day.
every week podcast. We have tea with special guest this week, Matt Kurtz. Then we have the weekly watch list and hot topic, where today we're doing another Keep the Faith, talking about reflection. And then finally we have a game which I'm quite buzzed for.
Quite buzzed. On a scale of 1 to 10, how buzzed would you say you are?
11.
An 11?
Yeah. Turning up to 11.
What?
It's some type of famous quote.
Okay. Should we listen to some music and dive into our next segment?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well,
JK.
okay, so we are allowed to move into the next segment?
Yeah.
Okay, here's some music again. The music that you just heard playing under us for a little bit. Here's more of it. Okay, we're back. Rachel, it's tea with.
Toy Weave.
And this week, what do we not have? What do we not have this week?
Tea.
Yeah, we don't have tea. You got yourself a drink though. That must be nice for you.
That sounds like a tea.
Yeah, well that was a comment that, I wasn't given a drink. Well done on knocking them out.
This is one that I poured ages ago.
Yeah, but did you say, Ben, do you want a drink? No, you didn't. Didn't say it, hurt my heart, hurt my feelings. So, right, it's tea with. This is the section where people that we know that you don't know ask us a bit of a question where you get to know us. And I'm happy with this question this week because I feel like this question's a question that's aimed at me. It's my kind of question. Do you know what
I realised though? Our previous guests, we didn't shout out their Instagrams.
We don't need to shout out people's Instagrams.
I know, I just feel bad because we did at the start. Sorry guys. Anyway.
Well, no one needs it. But we've got to apologise in advance when you hear this one, that you can hear some background noise. It was recorded in our church, And you can hear some lovely singing from Jacob Blood, who you heard the other week.
Mm-hmm. I'm told I'm
You ready?
surrounded.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm Matt Cuts, or Cutsy, whichever one you know me by, / don't know me by. And my question today is, if an animal that isn't a primate got a human brain, which would be the biggest threat to wipe out the human race?
I was just jamming along with the song as well.
So, the question, Rach,
Mm-hmm.
if an animal that wasn't a primate got a human brain, which would be the most dangerous to wipe out the human race?
This is proper Rugby Street. Can I just say we actually had a really in-depth conversation about this at church last night?
Did we?
Not you.
Not me.
No.
You cut me out of this.
Yeah. This was before you arrived. And it was quite a fascinating conversation, actually. What do you go first? You go first.
No?
Okay. I said I've got two. A dog or ants.
Why ants?
Because there's a lot of them and they're so strong.
Okay. And why dogs?
Because they're in our homes. So if they're a bit... What's the word? Like suspicious.
Like they're in a trusted position now, and they
Yeah.
could do a lot with that.
And they're kind of like, we're in their house. Let's not tell them that we have the capabilities that we have, but we're just going to take over and use our abilities to destroy the house.
Yeah. See, I went down a similar path in that I thought cats or snakes. I also couldn't decide between two. My reason for cats is they're very much, you either love them or hate them.
I said cats the other day as well.
And I think, you know, you can tell that a cat's scheming, and I think they would have, the advantage they would have on dogs is not only are they in our homes, there's already the fear factor.
Yeah, but also that's a good thing with dogs because we think they're good.
But that's the thing is you could use it, you could use either one to your advantage. Either they're really good and that's why you won't respect them, or there's the fear factor and so you don't want to get on the wrong side of them and they start taking over and people are going to be pledging their allegiance to the cat alliance.
Yeah.
But with snakes, there's a lot snakes can do.
It's like the story in the Bible with Misha and something and Abednego.
Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego.
That's it. Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. I don't know why I forgot that favourite story when I was a kid. It's like, if cats took over the world, I would not bow down to them. Just like they did not bow down to the fake gods.
See, I think if cats took over the world, I'd be like, oh no.
No, I'll stay trusty in myself. Yeah.
Cats are... I love cats. And if they wanted to be in charge, I'd ask what my role would be in society. Hopefully they'd be like, you don't have a role, and therefore I could just sit and play PlayStation all the time.
We're never getting a cat.
Why?
We said this. If you want to get a cat, that means giving up your dog.
Why does it mean giving up my dog?
Because we'll have 2 dogs and a cat.
Yeah?
No.
I had 2 dogs
I
and
don't
a
like
cat.
cats.
Why don't you like cats?
I do like cats, but I just don't want a cat.
Cats are great.
They're smelly.
Your brother's got a cat.
They're smelly.
He's not. He's nice. He's little.
Not anymore.
Well, he was little. He was tiny. I liked him when he was tiny. It was fun. I'm sure he's still fun now, but I've not really seen him.
Yeah, no, cats, nah.
Cats
you have to
are
give
great.
up Richmond.
Oh, I don't want to give up Richmond.
Exactly. Cat or Richmond.
We can give up Samson.
No.
Okay, I'll give up 1 kid
No.
for a cat. 1 kid for 2
Should we
cats.
explain what Samson and Richmond... Oh, it's buzzing again.
It's fine. It should be okay.
But it picked up last time.
It should
Oh, it
be
stopped.
okay.
It stopped.
Okay. You don't need to mention the buzzing. It will go.
We need to explain who Samson and Richmond is.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about the ideas of Samson and Richmond before.
We want 2 dogs.
Yeah.
A border collie, which
Called
will be
Samson.
Samson.
That was your pick
That's my
of
dog.
your dog.
And a dash hound
Yeah.
called a Richmond.
Cool. Because?
Richmond sausages.
Yeah. I think it'd be a cute name, and I
My
also
granddad
think...
likes the name.
See, your granddad's on board. I'd like to get him, one of the collars, but it looks like a shirt collar and he's got a little tie. And he can walk around like that.
That poor dogs.
Why poor dogs? He's called
But-
Richmond and he wears a suit.
If we really want a pet after we're married,
Mm-hmm.
but we obviously can't afford a dog straight away, we should get a tortoise.
Yeah. Called?
Dunno.
Oh, come on, I've already pitched my idea of a tortoise
forgot.
to you. I want to call it Tommy Shelby.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got a shell.
They're really low maintenance as well.
Yeah,
They're
you just
really
give him some
cute.
lettuce and you're like, on your trails.
I don't know if you did this at your school, but people used to bring in their pets for like show and tell.
We weren't allowed.
And I brought in my tortoise, my 2 tortoises, and they pooed on my teacher. And their names were Michelle.
Uh-huh.
I didn't name that one.
Was it spelled shell as in
I don't know.
shell?
I came home from Mama's one day and we had a tortoise called Michelle. And then Christmas time, my Santa was walking up the front garden. We had in our old house we had a front garden, not a back garden, because it was up a really long street, private street, and it makes us sound posh that. And Santa was walking up, aka my granddad, up the street and carrying a box, and he brought another tortoise, and I
Cool.
named that one called Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim.
Yeah, should I tell you why?
Because he was little? It was
Because we
Christmas
just watched Christmas Carol.
time.
But then I don't know where they are now. He's pretty loud, Ben. He's saying louder. Yeah. When we moved, my mum gave up on him. Gave him to my auntie, and I don't know what she did with him.
Killed him?
No, I think she gave him some rescue centre or something.
Oh.
But
Do you-
Michelle had really bad problems. She had a really flat shell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite on-screen tortoise? Do you have one? Or turtle?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Which one's your favourite?
I don't know. I never watched it.
Why would you say it? Leonardo? Donatello? Michelangelo? The other one?
Sure.
What, the other one? What are the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Dunno.
Turtles' names?
Do you know what I found out seems like a really nice person?
Go on.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I watched an interview with him, Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt, and it was very entertaining. They was talking about what films they haven't seen.
Rachael.
They're talking about a film they haven't seen, and then Brad Pitt was like, Gone with the Wind, and Leonardo DiCaprio was going, You never seen it?
You think Leonardo DiCaprio sounds like, you never seen it?
It's really good. It's really good. You should watch the interview. I'll send it you.
Okay. I will be eager.
Anyway, Matt, to answer your question, dogs and cats
And snakes and ants.
and snakes and ants.
Yeah. But now I'm kind of thinking turtles, maybe. Would you fight the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No.
Exactly. They've already won.
We used to play Power Rangers.
Go, go, Power Rangers.
When we were in a holiday in Turkey, we used to play Power Rangers, me, my brother, and Ellie, and whatever friends we made abroad. But they always used to jump in a swimming pool, but I didn't know how to swim until I was like 9, so I couldn't join in.
Oh.
Can you swim, Ben?
I can hold my breath and float.
I'm going to teach you how to swim one day.
I'm okay.
Yes.
Nah, I'm okay.
You need to learn how to swim.
For
It's
what
important.
reason? Why is it? But
What if someone pushes
we
you?
live in a landlocked town.
Yeah, but what if you're pushed into the canal or something?
Then I'll accept my fate.
No, you need to learn how. And if you're on a boat and you get your capsized.
Yeah, and then I'll start playing my violin and I'll go down with everyone else.
Oh, the
What?
rain looks really pretty.
You've got some weird thing of sometimes rainy days are nice, but every time it's a gloomy day, you're like, wow, it's lovely outside.
Yeah. I went and walked in the rain and there was so many worms everywhere and I screamed. I was on my own.
Tell them the story about the worms. Expand.
What do you mean?
There was more to your story. You said you leapt into the air and you squealed.
Yeah, I did. I was, it may sound really holy. I was walking and praying, and then I saw the worms, and I screamed and jumped.
Wow. I got an eclair from
The most chewiest sweet.
I love eclairs though. So it's okay. I started reading a comic the other day about the Ninja Turtles.
About the Ninja Turtles.
About
This is
the
what I'm
Ninja-
going to remember the rest of the episode.
I was reading a comic about the Ninja Turtles, and 3 of the Ninja Turtles are dead, and one of them's got to use all their weapons to avenge their deaths. It's really quite good.
Worms freak me out.
What freaks you out about worms?
I once stood on one.
And that, from
PTSD.
now on, you're like...
It makes me feel sick. I'm gagging.
I want to chop one in half, because I heard that they grow under the head.
Ben, please.
Is it true? I wish you could see Rachel's face now.
Can we please move on?
Okay. Who do you want to move on with?
I just gagged.
Who are you wanting to move
Is it
on
called
with?
gagged?
It is called gagged, yes. You can gagged, or you can be gagged.
Whoa.
I think Rachel needs to take a minute, so what we're going to do is you're going to hear some music, Rachel's going to either stop nearly being sick or go and be sick, and then we'll do some more fun stuff in a couple of moments. Here's some music.
Weekly watch list.
Beautiful jingle there, Rach. What are we doing? What's happening?
We are recommending anything we've watched, we've read, we listened to, seen, anything.
What if...
We should do a food segment.
We can do food. What if in a passing conversation you heard someone be like, you should watch Your Honour on Sky Atlantic? Could we recommend that because we heard someone
No.
in public recommend it?
No.
Why not?
Do you know, I've just thought,
What? You've really not mastered the art of audio media. You're meant to talk so people know what's happening.
I just thought of another recommendation.
Okay. Well, do you want to kick us off with your recommendations?
Okay, Ben, I will.
Go on.
The first one is Our Girl. How do you describe Our Girl? Well, I'll tell you. Our Girl is about... Season 1 is about a young woman, Stacey from EastEnders, who goes into... She's not actually playing Stacey, but she goes into the army, and it's about her journey in the army.
Yeah.
Season 2 to 4... 5 is about someone else, another girl. She's a paramedic and it's about her story. This will make you cry, it will make you laugh, it will make you smile. It is a great TV show and ultimately it'll make you want to join the army.
Will it? Is that the real message of our podcast now?
Yeah.
Is that everyone should join the army?
Yeah. The next one is Line of Duty. We spoke a lot about this last week, but it weren't on a weekly watch list. But Line of Duty is coming back. Next season is coming back very shortly.
Yeah,
Are you
Sunday.
ready? Have you got your seatbelts ready? We're gonna go on a ride.
Wow.
Alright.
Do you want to tell us about Line of Duty?
Line of Duty is about the AC-12.
Anti-corruption.
Yes, basically about a department in the police which deals with corrupt police officers.
Yeah.
And the next season's coming out and it was very fascinating
But why is it called Line of Duty?
because they're in a line of duty.
No, because at the end of every season, someone gets killed in the line of duty.
Really?
Yeah, have you not figured that one out?
No.
That's one of the policemen always dies every season, and at the end of season 1, when Lenny James dies or whatever his character's
Spoiling it!
actual, well, it happens. Everyone knows it happens. The end, and also that it's 6 years old. When he dies at the end of the season, they go, "Oh, he's been killed in the line of duty." That's where it gets its name. You know, like Back to the Future. Where at the end of the movie, it's like, "We gotta go back, mine." He's like, "Back where? Back to the Future."
Yeah.
Great movie.
Line of Duty is great though. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Line of Duty.
Why?
I love it when I watch it, but I hate the thought of it.
Why?
Because of the things that I'm into. I'm into like Rick and Morty, Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
You don't
Marvel.
like serious.
I like things to be fun, and there's never any jokes in Line of Duty.
See, when we watched Broadchurch, and Ben was like, yeah, it's boring.
Yeah.
That's going to be... Have I recommended that before?
What?
Broadchurch.
Predictable.
Well, I'll do that next week and I'll explain what Broadchurch is.
I predicted the ending.
It's
like an episode.
another great one. Line of Duty, definitely. It's on BBC. Into Netflix?
Season 5 is on British Netflix, but every season is on American Netflix. But if you're in Britain, all 5 seasons are on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, so
good.
Line of Duty is cracking.
Cracking.
Definitely watch it. Oh, Our Girls on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
As well.
I put on what streaming sites they're on.
I've started a book.
Yes.
It's called One Day.
One day more.
Imi, who
Another destiny.
who did the question 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
She gave it me. It's her favourite all-time book. I was a bit umming and ahhing about it because it's not my style of book as such, but I'm actually enjoying it.
What's it about?
3 chapters in. So it's about this boy and this girl. They meet last day of graduation, and then every year on that day they meet up, or they send like
How long until someone makes a movie about that?
There is a movie about it.
Oh, predictably.
It's actually it's not a cheesy one.
Are we sure?
Yeah, it's got Anne Hathaway in it.
That does not mean it's not cheesy.
No, but it's not like one of them really crap ones I watch. It's like a proper made one.
Okay, people enjoyed it, but
7 out of 10 on IMDb.
human people, less so. It's got Jim Sturgis in it.
Yeah, it's got quite a lot of big actors in it. Jodie Whittaker's in it.
I don't know that Jim Sturgis is a big actor.
No, but like...
I know who he is.
What's
Tim Key. Tim Key's on the first season of Taskmaster. Rafe Spall. I like Rafe Spall.
My mum's watched it before and I watched a tiny bit with her.
Yeah. Is it based in England?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because Tim Key is not Anne Hathaway famous.
But yeah, it's quite a known book as well.
Yeah.
Let's see what the book rates.
This is really becoming a boring podcast. It's just us Googling things.
Yeah. It's 4 stars.
One of the reviews of this movie is 1 star. Dexter and Emma sleep together the day they meet and they kiss, grope and strip down to their underwear, but then decide not to have sex out of embarrassment. It
Yeah.
just says 1 star.
Well, that guy's only watching it.
It was a woman.
That woman's only watching it for,
I don't know, because some people on IMDb get confused where you leave the parents' ratings and the ratings. So they might have actually tried to rate it in, you say like the sexualness and nudity and whatever is mild or moderate or whatever. So they might have tried to leave something in that and got confused.
See, it does happen like that. But it's just like, I don't want to have sex with you, so I've only met you. So let's just cuddle.
I'm not going to read that book. I'll stick with my Deadpool hunting vampires comic.
That's weird. Finally, I can't say that's weird because I watch any crap like that.
You do watch crap.
And then finally, Raya and the Last Dragon.
This is mine.
You ain't got it on there.
No, but I love it and I've been hyping it up for weeks.
Why is this yours? You didn't put it on.
Because I love it.
Raya and the Last Dragon. It's snazzy.
It's brilliant.
It's good.
I'd watch it again.
Do you want to explain what it is?
It's about Raya, a Malaysian/Vietnamese girl played by Kelly Marie Tran. And everyone's like, wow, dragons, but they all hate each other. And they all get into this argument, every district of this nation. They get into this argument and they break the dragon orb. What's the dragon orb, you ask? It's a thing that unites everyone in peace. And they break it and everyone turns into stone.
Should I read the description?
Go on.
This buzzing noise is doing my head in.
Just talk.
Long ago in the fantasy world of Kumandra,
Yeah, sounds right.
humans and dragons lived together in harmony. However, when a sinister monster known as the Druin threatened the land, the dragon sacrificed himself to save humanity. Now, 500 years later, those same monsters have returned, and it is up to a lone warrior to track down the last dragon and stop the Druin forever.
My only criticism of the movie is the Druin, or whatever their demons are called. It doesn't really explain that they're the reason behind everyone being like that. All you really see is the dragon orb breaks and they come and they kill everyone.
Well, they don't.
But they turn everyone to stone. Yeah. It's an amazing movie though. I'd say for me it's on par with Moana
Yeah.
in being one of the best Disney movies.
Frozen's really not good.
Frozen's good.
Frozen 2's good.
I just think Frozen's overdone. It
Yeah.
was good, it was really good. But because everyone hyped it up so much.
That's why I don't like Frozen 1.
Yeah. It got given much more credit than it deserved.
And there's better Disney films out there.
Like Moana and Raya.
Mhm.
Which I think are the two current best.
I only watched Moana last year.
I know.
First
We
time.
watched it.
I think we did.
Yes, we
I
did.
didn't because I watched it in lockdown.
We watched it.
We must have watched it together, but we didn't watch it my first time.
We definitely did.
We didn't.
We did.
Whatever. So IMDb rated it a 7.6 out of 10. Metacritic?
Metacritic is the combination of all the critics.
75%.
Which is good.
Rotten Tomatoes?
It's like 95, isn't it?
95.
I generally take, if you want what people think, Rotten Tomatoes is the best for it.
I think IMDb is the bias.
Why?
Because I feel like, I know girls they're not into it, so I know it's down to women as well. But it's very heavily based on film buffs.
I don't think it is.
Men.
But it isn't. That's not true.
If you search any rom-com on IMDb, it's crap reviews.
Because they're crap.
But to you, that crap.
No. They are bad films, but people don't watch them to be good films.
Okay.
They're always made on poor budgets by bad directors with bad script writers. But people are like, wow, because they liked the book it's based on.
So Raya and the Last Dragon, check it out when it's on Disney. You can pay for it, or you can just wait a bit longer
Yes.
to get it.
There are no other options of how to watch it.
No,
Not one.
no.
Are there any other Disney movies you're looking forward to?
I don't know what's coming. Oh, does that
Encanto?
no
And Luca?
Luca.
Luca looks sick.
I still haven't watched Coco. I watched the first half an hour.
You can watch Coco after this if you want.
No, I'm alright.
I want to watch Coco. Encanto looks good though. They're doing a movie where Stephanie Beatriz, Rosa Diaz, is the main character. She plays a Latino girl.
Jungle Cruise is coming out this year.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to that. Have you seen it?
No.
Like the trailers? It looks awful. It's Emily Blunt, Dwayne Johnson and Jack Whitehall. I do feel bad for Jack Whitehall though. It's his first big Disney role. And he got loads of criticism because he's playing a gay character.
No, he's not gay.
And everyone was like, you shouldn't because you're not gay, but he's an actor, so...
Yeah, that's stupid. So there's Raya and Last Dragon, that's come out this year. The next one I'm not going to name still looks crap.
What, Encanto?
Flora and...
Flora and Ulysses.
Yeah.
That dead annoyed me because it's actually a Marvel thing, but Marvel didn't want it because it's crap.
Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Luca.
Yep.
Cruella, which I'm looking forward to, but I don't like Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Encanto.
Uh-huh.
The Battles.
Yeah.
No, the Beatles.
The Beatles?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the documentary about him, innit?
And then Black Widow. More
Yeah.
films.
I'm really
There's
looking
more.
forward- There's more?
The Eternals.
Oh, The Eternals is going to be
Shang-Chi.
sick. That's going to be sick, and it's Shang-Chi, actually, but...
Kingsman.
Yeah, that could be alright.
Death on the Night. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that.
We are looking forward to that. There's a lot of things coming out. Most of this isn't this year. Like that's the end of this year, actually.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Ugh, Justice League.
Pinocchio. Oh, they made a live action Pinocchio.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's going to be in it.
Oh, that looks creepy, man.
Yeah, it will be.
Pinocchio looks very creepy.
The picture's not an official picture, it's like a fan art thing.
Oh.
But, what was I going to say?
Sorry, do you know what it looks like?
What?
Caroline.
Oh, I hate Caroline. But anyway, what I was going to say is they're making a Moana TV series, a Tiana TV series. There's loads of Disney TV series coming out for Disney Plus that I'm really excited for.
We could watch Moana.
We can watch Moana if you want. Make way, Moana, it's time you know. What a movie. There's so many of the Hamilton cast in that.
Yeah.
What I like about the Hamilton cast is they all seem to support each other when someone does something.
Anyway.
Like, I want to say something.
Okay.
There's a show on Apple TV called Central Park, and it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's got loads of the Hamilton cast in it because Leslie Odom Jr. is the main character.
What's your weekly watch list?
My weekly watch list.
This is going to be a
rattle through
long
it really
episode,
quick.
yeah.
What We Do in the Shadows on BBC iPlayer. It's a TV series. There's also a movie on Amazon Prime, which I would recommend watching first because they link in. It's really good. It's a mockumentary about some vampires. I'm not going to go into it too much because I've mentioned it every week since you started mentioning Vampire Diaries. But it's amazing. You should watch it. There's vampires in it. It's great. Ted Lasso on Apple TV. Now, this one, it's not my normal recommendation because what's it about, Ben, I hear you ask? Well, great question. It's actually about an American football coach who comes over to England to coach a football team to manage a football team because the guy who owned the club cheated on his wife and she got the club in the divorce and she wants to ruin the club so that he can see it burn. But then Ted Lasso does a really good job. It just won a Golden Globe. He got one for Best Actor. It's actually amazing. Like, I hate football, but it's barely about football and I really enjoyed it. And it's really good actors. And the last one to recommend is Marvel Studios assembled the making of WandaVision on Disney Plus.
That was pretty snazzy.
We enjoyed it, because what did we enjoy, Rach? We enjoyed WandaVision. Yay! That's my recommendation. I feel like I can't really expand on Marvel Studios assembled the making of WandaVision.
Do you know what's happening on Monday?
What's happening on Monday, Rach?
The Grammys.
The Grammys, yeah, I remember that. Also...
Harry Styles is doing the opening.
Wow. Also, Oprah with Harry and Meghan. You should watch that, it's really good. I was listening to a podcast the other day, they recommend things on their podcast, and the lady that's on it was saying that Harry and Meghan's interview is her Super Bowl. Like, it's the most exciting event of the year. But it was pretty good. A lot of things, nothing I would say is surprising. Like, everything they said, I was like, yeah, no, checks out.
Okay, let's leave that there.
But you should watch it. I'm just saying. I can say what I like. This is my podcast. I love you. Right. Should we listen to some music?
Yeah.
Get into the next segment?
Yeah.
You've not done your theme tune this week.
Which one?
You always do yourself a little theme tune. Every time you're thinking of something to say, you hum some little bit of music and it does my head in.
I'm sorry.
Do I hear some music?
Yeah.
Yay.
We're finally here.
Is something wrong with you today?
We're finally here, Ben.
In what? Where are we?
Hot topic.
So you've not done your spring revamp of the theme tune. You'll have to record it as like a Moana style track.
Make way, hot topic.
Yeah, what's our hot topic this week?
Keep the faith, reflection.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's reflecting on things they've achieved in their past? That's right, we are. What are you doing? Why are you breathing into your mic? Or breathing out from your mic? I couldn't tell what you were doing. Right, Rachael Kate Hall.
Yes.
So, we wanted to look into reflection this week. That was your idea. But we thought, it's something that is really important that we look into. We are people of faith. We're men and women of God. So we're looking
Brothers
at
and
it.
sisters in God.
We're not brother and sister. So, we thought we would look at it from like a faith perspective, because that's what we have, that's what we believe in. But we also, I think this is quite good as well for your mental health.
Yeah,
I think if you don't hold that belief, it's still something
you can still apply
you
it
can do.
and use some ideas, values and stuff.
Yeah, there's maybe like 1 or 2 points we'll mention that might not be applicable to your situation, but we'll still do it. Could be. You never know. Do you want to get into it? Should we dive straight in, head first, in the deep end?
Get that scuba diving Greek gear on.
Okay. Well, Rach, our first little topic, first little talking point is how can we let go of the self-centered focus of what we want to achieve and focus our minds on the broader purpose, the purpose we've been given by the Saviour, God.
The one and only. One and only.
This isn't how we talk in a normal situation.
Okay, so I feel like we can be very self-centered and I don't know is it humane, is that a word?
Humane is a word, but I don't know if it's the word that you're looking for.
Yeah, like what you want to do.
I think human is the word you're looking for.
Yeah,
it's very similar to humane, but it's minus a letter.
So I think in today's society, this might come across a bit controversial, Ben. But you're the champion of controversialness.
The man who walked off Good Morning Britain is.
I think today's society. Let me finish your sentence before you interrupt.
But I'm trying to let you finish your sentence, but you don't want to get to the end of it.
I think today's society is very much focus on yourself, look after yourself, love yourself, be transfixed on yourself, find what you are, do what you want to do. It comes from a place of good.
Yeah, I think.
But it can be very dangerous.
As people, we have that tendency that, you've got to look out for number one.
Yeah.
And you forget that, you actually live in a society of billions of people.
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of nicking this off Nathan Buzz something. I've forgotten his
Buzz
name.
Lightyear?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, Buzz Lightyear.
He plays Cole in the Vampire Diaries. He's a Christian.
We'll call him Buzz Lightyear.
And I watched a couple of the when he's talking about his faith, and he basically said you need to stop listening to society when they're saying just look at yourself, because
Oh, you showed me this interview.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's not doing it in a way of don't look after yourself, because you need to prioritise that you love yourself.
Well, there's that difference between self-love and self-centeredness.
Yeah. And
loving
there's a
yourself
very
means
fine
doing
line.
things for other people.
There's a very fine line between it. And I think... sorry, my headphones are buzzing and it's really distracting.
You can take your headphones off.
No, it's alright. So I think that we need to be careful, figure out what that line is, because we can forget about the world and forget about what our purpose is.
Yeah.
Because leading on to another point is how when we do that, when we just focus on ourselves, we become selfish.
Yeah.
And then I can speak from experience. I never used to speak about my problems, and it got to a point when all I did was speak about my problems, and it got annoying. I know it got annoying for myself, and I'm like, this must annoy other people, because there's that kind of selfishness that can come from it. I totally forgot what my point was now. I think what I'm saying is we always try and figure out what we want.
Yeah.
And it's not from a faith perspective. Stop thinking, what do we want, but what does God want us to do?
Yeah.
And what makes the world better. Stop thinking, I did this. I watched Suits and I was like, I want that lush lifestyle. I'm going to be a solicitor. But then I was like, no, I don't. I want the money that comes from being a solicitor, but I'm not doing it for helping people. I'm doing it from a place of I want the money and I want that lifestyle.
Yeah, so instead now you've changed to I'm going to work in a low paying job, and Ben, what you're going to do is you're going to earn all this money so that I can have all these lush things.
No, you know what? I'm living by my means, man. So yeah, I hope my point came across then.
I get what you're saying. You're saying that if you live a self-centered life, you're not achieving what you're meant to achieve, you're achieving what you want.
You're suppressing what you're
Yeah.
truly meant for.
And it's not true happiness, it won't last.
No.
You'll be bitterly disappointed by the way that would end.
Yeah.
Whereas if you focus on what your purpose is in life, what you can give to the world and to other people, that will last.
Yeah. I think it's like, I'm not going to say that, it's very controversial.
What are you going to say?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But
Tell
I
me
think
now and I'll cut it out if it's controversial.
Okay, let's say activists.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to reword from what, not exactly.
I get what you mean. I think.
Okay, so activists, we kind of touched on this in a mental health episode. They can become they get to where they need to be.
Yeah, and then it's changing things to get a world that suits you.
And then they become suppressive
Yeah.
to people.
Well, it's like
They
in that
become
comment that we were
oppressive.
talking about in that episode, in that someone shared a post that was like, if you don't like fat people, you're racist. And it's like that's trying to fix a problem and then thinking, oh, but while I do that, I can fix my problem.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, oh, actually, that's not racism, it's just being mean.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different issue, and it's a relevant issue,
Yeah.
but you take away the value of that issue by...
Yeah, and then it takes away the value of it.
Yeah.
So I think in us, I totally forgot. I've really lost that point now.
We get what you're saying. To reward yourself, you need to be selfless.
Yeah,
And
but to be selfless, you need to know your worth.
yeah. And it's that kind of act as well of like, if you do something nice and you do it for thanks, when someone's like, oh, that's great, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's nice. And then you want more. But if
Yeah.
you do something nice and then someone's like, oh, that's amazing, thank you, but you weren't aiming for
Yeah.
that, then that lasts, and that's your daily high
Yeah.
of being like, I did something today.
I think it's really challenging to talk about this, being humble.
Yeah.
Because saying, oh, I'm humble, is that being humble or is that being prideful? And I think I'm getting a lot better at it.
The difference is why you say, I'm really humble.
Yeah.
isn't it? You might say it in that we think we're quite good at it, and we think we're good at it. We could maybe improve. But we want to tell you what we think you can do to be
Exactly.
humble. And we're not talking about ourselves, we're talking about, like, a lot of what we're talking about today comes from something that we heard last night.
Yeah, it is. And we planned this before we listened to the message as well.
Yeah, it was more the idea, the plan was padded out because we heard something that was applicable.
Yeah, and I think you need to be humble.
Yes.
And
Like Kendrick says.
I don't tell people stuff. That's a big thing in my life. I'll tell the closest people to me.
Yeah.
So, for example, I got a job interview. I didn't tell anyone apart from you and then my mum. But then my mum told other people, and I was like, no, man, no.
Yeah.
I don't need people to know that I've done something well, because that's... Especially, I was being interviewed for a charity as well. I was like, I don't want to be like, oh, look at me, I'm so good, I managed to get an interview. Like, I don't like that. When I get asked to do stuff for church, I don't tell people. Like, I don't see the point in needing to tell people. I think if you need help and guidance for that, tell people. Like, tell leaders or friends around you, be like, oh yeah, I've been asked to do this in Courage. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
Then that's different. But you'd be like, I got asked to do Encourage, I get to preach, I get to do hosting, I get to lead a team.
Yeah.
Then that's an issue.
It's the kind of thing of, if you come to me and you're like, oh my gosh, I just got asked to do an Encourage.
Yeah.
The difference is, you're not letting me know for me to be like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You're letting me know so that I know where you are at this time, or I know what you're up to, I know what you're planning.
Because for me, when it comes to that, it's damaged me in the past as well. But if I get asked to do anything, I keep it low key, because I'm not doing it for the glorification for myself. I'm doing it to honour God. and I'm doing it to help people. I'm not doing it for people, wow, Rachel got to do and encourage. If you know what I mean? I'm doing it to honour God and to honour others.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it to be gloating.
Yeah.
So I don't like going around and telling people stuff.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you used to be able to, but I think it can also, sorry Ben, you want to talk, I know you want to talk, but I know from past experiences, sometimes when I got asked to do stuff at church, or even at school or whatever, in my daily life, I used to be like, oh great, this means they're going to say something good, and then they didn't. Yeah. I felt so downbeaten, but it don't mean I didn't do it good, it just means I might impact them in a different way. People, you don't expect a thanks.
I also think a lot of the time when people don't say something, it means that you've done it right.
Yeah.
Because people, if you do it wrong, someone will be like, why'd you do that? But we don't live in a culture, especially outside of church, but occasionally inside of church, that is rewarding.
Yeah.
In that I think now it's more commonplace to hear what you've done wrong rather than what you've done right. And so if I do something, I generally don't expect to hear like, oh wow, I listened to this episode of your podcast, I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Because
the thing is, and the sad fact is, people only really tell us what they didn't like.
Yeah, and I think, fortunately, no one's really said anything.
Yeah.
But then when you do get that, it's just so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
But you need to know where your heart is, and I think that's the main thing. We've gone right off topic here.
That's what I was wanting to say earlier, is that now that we've strayed off topic.
But it's where is your heart?
Yeah.
Why are you doing something? Where's your heart? So when you listen to original YouTubers, they didn't get paid, but they just had a passion for it. But now people want to do it as a career. And it's like, yes, you can be passionate. I want to do a career. Don't get me wrong, because I'm passionate about the career I want to go down.
Yeah.
But are you doing it for the money and the fame, or are you doing it to bring light into the world?
There's a kind of thing of like, obviously there's loads of YouTubers like that, but it's I watch a YouTuber, that Mr. Sunday Movies, that does all the movie stuff that I like, who it's literally, he was a teacher and the channel really took off and they told him like, you've got to choose in Rachel's trying to stifle you. But yeah, there's the thing of like, he wanted to stay a teacher, but they were like, oh, you gotta choose.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason that he does it as a career. It's not like, I want to get famous. It's just that people were really enjoying it, and it was reaching like 1 million people, whereas his teaching was reaching 30 people a year. So then it's, you've got to choose, I can make people happy as a teacher where I'm not impacting that many people, or I can make people happy making videos.
This isn't
loads of people.
This isn't us saying, oh, you have to do something that's with 1,000 people. Like, you can impact the one, and that's such an important thing.
But it's more, if you're given an opportunity that still is something that you're passionate about, that you really want to do, that will impact the more people, then maybe, if it feels right, that's the path that you're being called down.
So linking this to reflection, I think saying all that is, we can use our self-centeredness to be like, I never get asked to do anything, I never have a job opportunity, I never get passed on an interview, I've never done good on a grade, I've never done this, and you always focus on the negative. It's like, have you ever seen the idea of when a teacher, he drew a black dot in the middle of a circle, drew a black dot in the middle of a whiteboard, and he said, what's that, what do you see? What do you see?
Oh, and everyone says the black dot.
The black dot.
But what you see more of is the white.
Yeah, exactly. So what you see more of is the white space. But we focus on the tiny nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah.
And we forget about what God's done in our life, or what our life has brought, what we've actually accomplished in life. And we need to reflect on that so we can have a good life, we can know our worth, we understand what God's done in our life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and I think, like, because obviously this episode's already been so long and I'm going to bring us into the points now, I think one thing that we have pretty much touched on is that one of the best ways to focus in on what you're really meant to do is to spend your time finding the areas that you flourish the most in.
Yeah.
And finding, like, say, I'm thinking again, like in church, is I was on our youth team, been on it for years, but I'm also on our kids team.
Yeah.
And I'm training to be a teacher of kids in our kids team age group. And so I was like, I want to do youth. And I wasn't getting opportunities. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And gradually my passion for that was fading.
Mm-hmm.
But along with that, my passion for doing our kids stuff was fading because I wasn't getting opportunities in that. And I was like, well, why? Because I want to do it. But you can't have... It's like you can't have your cake and eat it.
Yeah.
Like, I could have probably done something in youth if that was where I was most passionate and I was doing stuff. I could have probably done more with the kids' work. And eventually, like, I laid the youth stuff down, and the stuff that I'm doing with the kids' work is good stuff.
I think, though, adding on to you then,
Yes.
if you are passionate about something, you're not being given opportunities, number one, this is what I struggle with, tell someone what you want to do.
Yeah.
Number two is you are doing something.
Yeah.
You are. Like, you were leading a Connect group and you were impacting people. But your passion weren't there.
Yeah.
And your heart weren't fully in it. So I think this is why we're talking about reflection, is always look at it. Oh, Ben's making noise. If I did that, I would have got shouted at.
Yes.
I think, yeah, so this is the point of it, this episode, is to look at the achievements and what's actually happened in your life.
Yeah. I also think... Sorry, I just...
It's alright.
One of the things that's, like, probably going to come quite evident in what we talk about is that everything that you say, I won't be like, yes, and everything that I say, you won't be like, yes. And it's the kind of thing of reflection. There is no right answer.
Yeah.
In that these are just things that work for us, and things that will things that will hopefully help someone.
Yeah.
And I think there is that thing of, we might say some things that you're like, no.
Yeah.
And there's also things that apply to us that won't apply to you, or will apply to you but won't have ever occurred to us.
Yeah. So linking with passion is finding your passion. So
Yeah.
finding where you tick. Is that the same?
Finding what makes you tick,
No.
not where you tick, because normally you tick in your eyes. Like,
I think finding what makes you excited.
yeah,
Finding what you feel called to. And we'll talk about how to find a call, like how we found our calling and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I think, finding what makes you happy, what makes other people happy, and why are you doing it,
yeah.
is an important... We kind of touched on it earlier, is, are you doing it for the rewards? Are you doing it for the money? Or are you doing it to help others? Are you doing it to help your family? Because, money can be a great motivator, but are you doing it for the bad or the good reasons? Because money can be a great motivator because you're passionate to put your kids through they don't need to worry about money. Like, there's that side of it.
Yeah.
But there's that of, I can buy a fancy car, I can buy a big house. Like, why are you doing it?
Yeah, it's like, for me, I'd like to be in a job that I would earn money, but because I like providing.
Yeah.
It's something that, for me, being able to provide for the people around me is a huge booster.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm never like, I want to be a head teacher and I want to do this and this, because I'm like, I could be rich.
Yeah.
But instead I'm more like, I want to be able to give my kids the things that I wanted as a kid but couldn't get. And I want to be able to give you nice stuff. Sometimes, but not always. You get a strict allowance, £10 a week, save it up, get something nice.
We kind of touched on the next bit about what brings you joy, basically, just then.
Yeah.
So, like Ben said, he can expand on this if he wants. We were at youth last night, so we're filming this on a Saturday before you're listening. And the great Joe and our youth pastor, Nathan, they did a tag team message about, oh my days, what was the title? Passion fruit. Basically finding what your passion is.
Yeah. And finding where your passion's gone.
Yes. And the key thing they said was, where are you placing your confidence?
Yeah.
So if you've lost a passion, put your confidence in it. And if it's what makes you passionate again, then it's a thing for you, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't have my notes on me about the message because I wrote in my notebook.
Yeah, but it's like Joe who did the message. He's an incredible keys player.
Yeah.
And so Joe plays for our church, well, our youth band and our church band, and in his own little student band. And he's incredible at it.
Mm-hmm.
But he went on to say that, like, he didn't always have that passion. Like, he lost that passion for playing keys.
Because he lost his confidence.
Yeah. And it was the kind of thing of, I guess there's very much little else that I can say in that when you put your confidence back in it, that's where your passion will be. I can see if I can find anything in his notes that I can expand on that.
And then another one is surround yourself with people who support you.
Yes.
I think your support system is a very vital thing. And if you're really passionate about something and your support system isn't helping you, move on.
Yeah. But, I mean, before you move on, it's that kind of thing. If you have to evaluate your support system in, are they not supporting you because it's not the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they supporting you because they're not the right support group?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's that sad fact of eventually in life, that support group that you have will drastically change.
Yeah.
In that the friends that I would have called my closest friends like 2 years ago, I speak to maybe like once a month now.
Yeah. It's like, with me, I've never been great with friends, getting friends. But over last year or something, we figured out we had this massive friendship group, and there's probably like 20 of us. But in there we have our close-knit individual ones.
Yeah.
And for me, I have probably 2 closest friends in that.
Am I in that?
No.
Oh.
3 then I do in it. Who I can trust and rely on. And I feel like they're my support bubble. And I know they'll be honest with me if it's something that's going wrong. But if I know I am so happy and passionate with what I feel my calling is, that if they were like, yeah, you shouldn't do that, I know that's wrong.
Yeah. And I think something that I wanted to tag on to the end of that bit that also links to do what brings you joy was that the thing that brings you joy, it should be bringing the people around you joy to see you do it.
Yes.
And it's the kind it's the kind of thing that it might not necessarily make them happy.
Yeah.
But it should bring them joy. They should be able to be like, oh, I get to watch you do something amazing.
Yeah. You want, like, be a friend. Like, you can be a friend or make sure your friends what are they saying about you?
Yeah.
Like, Nathan did a message quite a while ago that he mentioned last night. Be like Dorcas.
Do it like Dorcas.
Do it like Dorcas. Which is a girl in the Bible. And she just did good stuff, good deeds. And I think that's the only time she was mentioned. I might be wrong though.
I think it is. Do you know what the weirdest thing about that Dorcas story in the Bible is? Her Greek name is Tabitha, which I think is a much more normal name than Dorcas, but it's like Tabitha, which translates to Dorcas, and I was like, I'd rather call her Tabitha.
So yeah, she basically just says she did good things.
Yeah.
And are you that person?
Yeah.
Do it like Dorcas.
And it's the kind of thing of people, that's how they should remember you.
Yeah.
Remember Rachael? She did good things.
Yeah. What's your legacy are you leaving?
Yeah. And there's also the thing of, like, as much as, I don't want to sound like I'm, like, crapping on that Bible story, there's the thing of, with your friendship group, they shouldn't just say they did good things. What you do, it should be memorable.
Yeah.
It should be, oh, Rach did this, and that's amazing because.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, specifically for you, really, like, the listener, when you are championing people, not when you're being championed, you should take note of what was good, why was it good, in that positive, like, affirmation of what they're doing.
Exactly.
It should be specific.
But also, affirmations, love languages, if they don't appreciate someone, be like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. I don't really appreciate that.
Oh,
I hate
Rach,
it.
that's a really good point.
I hate it. Do you know when you're doing like a game or something, it's like, Rachel, I'm like, shut up, man. I don't need that.
I've always just found that cheesy. I don't hate it. I like affirmation, but if someone's chanting my name, I'm like, stop.
So find out what your friends' love languages. Anyway, that was a really big side note. Anyway, moving on. This is mainly for you.
Yes, because I suggested this bit.
Are you reflecting on?
Yeah.
So this is probably the biggest part of the episode. We can give you an example of not looking at the good that's done in your life and what God's done in your life, but actually focusing on the human side of stuff.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird if you don't go to church.
But it's also, I think it works in any situation in that it's very human to forget where your passion and purpose was.
We're very negative people.
Yeah. And this, for me, we were literally trying to think of a subject to do because we said that like we kind of wanted to do a faith-based one again.
Yeah. And
we were trying to think of what to do, and Rachel was like, what have you been thinking about? And I was trying to think, and I had this moment of like remembrance of a few years ago in a youth church service. It must have been 3 or 4 years ago. Sam, who runs our church media, he said to me that he felt that like God had a word for me that was, you're gonna do amazing things with media.
Yeah.
And I was on their media team for youth at the time, and so I thought, I'm gonna do something on the media team and it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always categorised it as that. I've always thought about it like that. And then nothing happened for years, so I forgot about it. But I always ignored a part of what Sam said, which is, you're going to do something amazing with media, and you're going to take it further than we've ever taken it, and you're going to do more than you thought that you would.
Yeah.
And I remember I can't place what made me think of it, but something reminded me of
You're making loads of noise, gorgeous, with your mic.
Something reminded me of like, I've actually done that.
Yeah.
Like I've reached that, I've achieved it. Because we did our kids ministry.
Mm-hmm. And that reached like 1,000 people.
Yeah, in different countries, different places every week, and other churches. Whereas at the time, our church, we've only just started putting out resources for everyone to see. And Rachel's having a real problem with YouTube over there. But we've only just started putting out these resources, and there was that kind of thing of thinking of it of like, before we started putting out these resources, we were putting something out that everyone was seeing how we were doing our kids' stuff.
You reached 4,000 people, Ben, by doing
4,000 people, and that's something that
views even.
Yeah, and that's something that we did.
Yeah.
And it was huge.
Yeah.
And then there's also, and it's maybe less so, but also it's something that I still count, is like this podcast, in that as much as it's something I like to make a joke about in that we reach these people, it's like, we're in England, we're in America, Australia, Canada and India. And I don't think I'd ever have thought I'm going to do something that people are seeing in different countries and people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas now I think there's actually more people that listen that I don't know, that I do know.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
Graphics. Ben is an amazing graphic designer.
Thank you.
And he designs graphics for our church and youth ministry. And the ones, I'm sorry, this is mean, but he gets the biggest praise once a graphic is posted.
Yes. But
I think that's to do media, and I think that's your creative side, and I think we can get so transfixed on what doesn't happen.
The thing that
you can cut that out if you don't like it.
No, it's okay. The thing that I kind of like to pride myself of having done in a way that, because that comment, I don't want it to sound like...
Don't pride.
I don't want Rach to sound like she's saying I'm better than everyone else, because that's not the situation.
No.
But what I've always kind of done is I've made relatable graphics, I'd like to say, in that, like, I made a jokey Star Wars poster for a night we did. I've made Love Actually graphics for
You're
a Christmas
passionate
thing
about it, and it shows.
Yeah, like if someone asked me to do a graphic and they're like, I want it by Sunday, I've done it by Monday.
Yeah.
Like, as in the Monday earlier. It's, I won't wait around thinking, what can I do? And it's credit to the people around me in that
Yes,
I
definitely.
draw inspiration from what people like, what people talk about.
Yeah.
I'm never doing it from, I'm Ben, I like Star Wars, I'll do a Star Wars graphic. I literally had someone say, oh, I saw that thing that you made that was based on this the other week, you should do a Star Wars poster. And I did it, and people were like, a Star Wars?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's great. You can cut this out.
That was Ben.
You can cut this out if you don't say
No,
it.
no, we can keep it. We can
Ben was very negative. So he thought he would be leading a media team.
Yes.
And I remember you were so... not negative. You're negative.
I was hurt.
You were hurt by
say.
it. But I think that's the human
Yeah.
characteristics we have inside of us. And it's very much... that's what you were focused on. You weren't looking at all the amazing stuff you've done in media, because media is such a broad thing.
I would like to add, it wasn't just I was big-headed and thought I'll be leading it.
No.
I was told,
Yeah.
and nothing ever came of that, and I felt hurt that I hadn't got it,
Yeah.
but then realised that actually I've got so many other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've done much more with those other things than I ever did
Yeah.
with what I wanted.
I thought of something.
Go ahead.
So, a month or two ago, I had an identity crisis. So, I was watching one of our church onlines, and I just felt really down and doubting myself. And I was like, oh, I'm useless, I'm not important. And then I had a phone call with one of our amazing leaders, and she basically told me, you need to realise what you've got. You realise why are you doing this? You are leading a connect. You have the honour of being a youth leader. And like Ben said, we've done the GU online. And I think that made me reflect, okay, I'm passionate about this. Stop making it about myself. Stop thinking, oh, why haven't I been asked to preach yet? Because I'm very passionate about that. But when I look back, I'm like, I don't read my Bible as much as I should. So if I got asked to preach, yes, it will come from a place of honouring God, but it won't be the best I can do to honour God, because I won't be in the right place for it. And I think we can get so like jealous of our friends and stuff, and we can forget about why we're doing it, and we just focus on I want that, and be greedy. And for me, I needed to shake up, be like, Rachel, wake up, look what you're doing. Are you actually in the right place to be asked to do stuff like that? I'm like, yes, I think my relationship with God is strong, but I don't think it's at the best ability it can be. I've got so much to learn. And when I do get the opportunity to preach the word of God, I want to be on fire, like overflowing on fire, overflowing with water. Like, I want to be bursting with it, and I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And I've accepted that, because I don't want to be helping people or preaching stuff that I don't fully understand myself.
Yeah.
But in other areas, like small groups, I love giving advice like that.
Yeah. But I think it's two very different things in that sometimes people aren't at the time equipped to do a message, but you could answer every question that people could throw at you.
Yeah.
And it's very, like, obviously I've not seen much of it, but I've seen you with your connect, with the girls that you lead in youth, and the relationship.
They get annoyed because I talk so much about one topic, and I'm like, in the Bible it says this, and I'm like, oh, stop talking.
But it's that kind of thing in that, as much as like people might get fed up of it, you know it, and they might think it's never going to apply to me, but it's something that will shape something for someone. And it's the kind of thing of the sad fact that often you won't get rewarded for anything in life because the people that need to hear it, the ones that are going to speak up and say, I needed that.
Yeah. And I think I'm so passionate about helping people. I said to Ben, I went, when we're married, and we've been married for 3 years, I can't wait to give relationship advice, like strong relationship advice.
I can.
But I'm just very passionate about that stuff, and I just want to help people. So yeah. That's I just got shaken up, like, look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So take a step back, look at what you've done, what you're doing and see how God's moved and how you've impacted people.
Yeah. And I think we've represented two really good sides of reflection there, in that for me it's looking at something I didn't realise I'd achieved, and for you it's looking at something that you've realised why you've not achieved it yet. And I think there are two key factors in that. Like, okay, you feel like you've not achieved something yet. Have you achieved it, first off, and it's just happened under your nose, it didn't come in the form that you thought it would, or is it still in the pipeline?
Yeah.
It's like when I think of most things for some reason in terms of films, and it's like, you know, maybe you're in pre-production, maybe you've not even started writing it yet, or maybe you're doing reshoots.
Yeah.
Maybe that it's not quite there, it's not quite finished, and you're still working on it.
So we're going to give you some tips on how to reflect.
Tip number 1 is something that in every single episode we've done with, like, how do you do this? And Rachel always say,
write a list.
I hate lists.
I love them. So make a list of what God's done in your life. Look at other people you've impacted and just literally just stop what you're doing. Sit on your own, sit in silence. Like, what has God done in my life?
Yeah.
But another tip, adding on to that, in our Connect group, the one I have 2 Connect groups, it's complicated. But Judith, she said about a story, someone struggled to say what they were thankful for, so they sat in the bed and they went, God, thank you for my bed. God, thank you for iPhones. God, thank you for a toilet. Thank you for this pen. Yeah. And then it ended up them being on their knees just declaring how much they're thankful for.
Yeah, I think there's...
I was just going to say, if you're struggling to think of what you reflect, think of the tiny things. Like, I've woken up this morning.
Yeah.
God's made me have the ability to wake up and message a friend.
Yeah. And it's the kind of thing of our friend Ben, who we mention an awful lot.
We do.
He said this amazing thing that everyone kind of repeats now, which was, you've always got so much more to be thankful for than you do to be sad about.
Do you know what's funny though?
What?
Imagine if that's not even what Ben came for.
He might not.
I think
every time I've heard it, someone said, Ben always says this.
Were you there at that one event? Is that how long ago it was before you were there? Crazy. It was probably like 5-6 years ago he said that message. Yeah. I
wasn't then, I was in Palma, Spain. But I think it is a really good point in that, you know, if you're ever at a time that you think, I've not achieved anything, like, you've probably got a smartphone, you're probably in a great position, and, you know, that's on you. Like, you're in a brilliant position that you're able to have these things.
You have a friend.
But maybe you don't, but maybe you've got a TV.
That you've done something.
We're your friends. If you're listening to this, you have the ability to listen to podcasts.
Yeah. You can say, I smiled at that person. That's a good reflection.
Yeah. On to the next point.
Goals. Write a list of goals.
No, not lists. Just think about them in your head. Because I hate lists.
Write them down so you can reflect and be like, wow, I did that.
I think, goals, but also something that I know a lot of people hate and I don't quite fully believe in. But, you know, like affirmations, when you start your day, like, I'm going to do this.
I've done them.
Yeah, sometimes I really dislike them, but I like the idea of it.
When I have kids, I'm going to do affirmations with them.
I think it's less so that, like, I don't think you can quite speak it into existence, but it's more declaring over your day, like,
look, it's not speaking it, it's not manifestation.
That's the one that I hate. Hate manifestation.
I do not agree. It's not
a...
there is a biblical way, which is asking God and stuff.
Yeah.
You can go into it another time, but then there's manifestation, like, energy, it's all me. I
can feel it in these crystals.
So I hope we're not offending you.
I hope we are.
But with the problem with manifestation is it's very self-centered again. It's very much I was like, I'm gonna get this job. It's no, that wasn't you. It was you and God.
Yeah.
And it becomes a very self-centered, I'm going to speak in it. Oh, how did you get the job? I spoke it into existence.
Yeah.
No, you pray.
But I think like affirmations and declarations,
Yes.
in the way of saying you're good enough to do this, or today I'm gonna do this, because then you're not believing I solely have the ability to do it. Because even if you're not relying on God, you're relying on the people around you.
Yeah. You could be like, my parents believe I'm beautiful, so I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
And I do it. I've done it.
And my mum will be a great prom date. I don't care what anyone says.
It's truth. It works.
Yeah.
It actually works. And like me as a believer in God, I say, God, there's a song, I can't remember what song it is now, but it says basically along the lines, I believe whatever you say is truth.
Yeah.
And when it comes to it, be like, God says I'm worthy. God says I am loved. God says I am a child of God. And it works. Ben's telling me it's time. You can edit, okay?
I know, I'm just saying. Just saying. Not a podcast.
But I'm moving here. I'm flowing. What I'm saying is basically do it, like Ben says. I think it works. Look at yourself and be like, you look good.
Mm-hmm.
Tell yourself that. Anything else to add on to
that? Not to add on to that, we've got 2 more tips.
Yeah, okay. Spend time with God.
Yes.
One way to do that is either there's so many ways to do this, but sit on your bed, just sing silence and just ask God to speak to you. This is a way you can find out ways to find your purpose. Go on a walk for an hour and just pray the whole time and listen to worship music. I do that. Read the word. So, Jeremiah 29:11. Go on, Ben. See if you know it.
I do. I can't remember it, but I know.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans for hope and a future.
Yeah.
Esther 4:14 says, perhaps you were born for such a time like this. I love that one.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I was born for this.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's spending time with God, but also something that I think we touched on through the whole episode, so we don't really need to say an awful lot about it. But support networks. Rachel's giving me a really sad look.
Finished talking.
Oh, go on.
No, it's fine.
Continue.
I'll just put some verses somewhere.
Okay, we can put them in the description.
Okay.
You paused and you stopped talking and you didn't say anything for like 3 seconds, so I
Sorry.
thought it was my time to talk.
Go on.
You can carry on if you want.
No, you go.
Okay, support networks is, I think, a huge thing. In that, you got to have people around you. You got to have people that believe in you. And so your tips for achieving... Okay, Rachel's being rude now, so that's...
You were doing that to me.
Support networks.
Carry on.
That's it.
So no. Ben
Support
was tapping
networks.
his wrist saying...
I was only making you aware. I wasn't saying wrap it up, I was just making you aware. But yeah, you need support networks around you, people that believe in you. Should we hear some music, Rachel?
Are you sure you got nothing else to say?
I'm sure. Should we hear some music, Rachel?
Yeah, promise?
I promise. Should we hear some music, Rachel?
Yes, let's hit it. Now it's time for a game. We haven't done a game in ages.
So, are we going to have that every time we do a game, that jingle? Okay. So, what's the game, Rach?
It is called Fake News or Real News.
I've put real news or fake news.
Wow. There you go.
This is, you put Donald Trump and Piers Morgan in a room. Will it be real news? Will it be fake news? It'll be fake news. Do you want to start?
I can do. I've got 5 though.
Yeah, because you cheated the system.
I did.
I was like, how many do we have, Rach? And you said 3, and then you picked 5.
Sorry. Okay, my first one, Ben.
Go on.
Basically.
Oh, I figured out how we can fit them all in. You do one, I do one.
Okay, so basically.
Yep.
A puppy was born
Mm-hmm.
with 6 legs
Right.
and 2 tails. This puppy was meant to be a twin, but it didn't split.
Oh, I think fake news.
Okay, any questions?
Can we ask questions?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm scared now I said that.
I know a little bit about these topics. What breed was it?
It was. I'm not too sure.
Right, I think this is fake. I think it's fake news.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, it's fake news.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm certain it's fake news.
It's true.
It's true?
Yeah,
I want to know what kind of dog it is.
It's a puppy, so you can't really tell what dog it is.
It's got a leg coming out the side of it.
It has 2 reproductive systems.
Oh.
And 2 pelvic. So from the top half of the dog is normal, but the bottom half is not.
That dog's like Dr. Octopus.
But yeah, there you go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My turn now for a news story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
A London family has recently won a court case to name their child with the heart eyes emoji.
I'm going to say fake because Elon Musk, is that his name?
Elon Musk, yes.
Couldn't name his kid with numbers.
But that was America. This is a London family, a London court case.
Is there a reason why they decided that?
Or why they decided they want to name it Heart Eyes? Because people have to pick a name for their
I think
kids.
this is fake.
When people have a kid, they pick a name.
Fake.
You saying fake?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
You certain?
Yeah.
You can change your answer when you look really smart. Okay. Rachel, it is fake. It's fake news.
I'm really sick of that. That's a really cool story. Did you make that one up?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, you ready? Someone claims that they went back in time, like pre-COVID, and caused COVID.
Okay.
They messed up with the time and they caused the pandemic.
Right, so, hold on. I'm just checking something.
Don't Google it.
No, I'm checking that we're actually recording. We are.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, that was scary. So, questions I've got to ask. First off, question number 1 is, when you say someone claims this, are we saying the true or false news stories that they've claimed that this happened? Or the true or false news stories that they did go back in time?
This man states and believes he went back in time.
Right.
Which caused a ripple in the time to cause COVID.
Right. So what did he do to cause it? Does he explain that? No. Oh, people do this lunatic stuff all the time. Because I watched someone talk about how in 2021 there's going to be floods all through LA, and they know because they're from the year 2028.
Yeah.
But, I think it's a load of crap.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Any other questions?
What do they look like?
There isn't a picture.
Did they wear a bow tie? Were they in a blue
There isn't
box?
a picture.
Were they in a blue box?
There isn't a picture.
But they can't travel in time if they're not in a blue box, can they? I've seen Doctor Who.
Any other questions?
Were they Doctor Who?
No.
Okay. No, I don't think it's true.
I don't think it's true.
I don't think
it
it's
is
true.
not true, but that's a good one for me to make up in
It was a good one. Well done. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did I come across believable?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would have believed that someone who is on your level of weirdness would believe that they could go back in time and cause COVID. I'm kidding. I love you. Okay. A strand of George Washington's hair has been valued at $75,000 at an auction last week.
I think that's true.
You think it's true? Any questions?
No.
No
Where
questions
was
at
this?
all. Washington.
Okay, where did they find the hair?
It was preserved. He had this strand of hair.
He preserved it.
He kept it in this little tin.
Oh, false.
You think it's false?
Yeah.
You think it's false?
Yeah.
Are you sure? It's absolutely true.
Is it?
Yeah.
The thing that they act like I can believe that if someone preserved it, but you said he preserved it, which made me doubt.
He kept it and it was preserved.
Okay. That's what they made me doubt when you went, he did it.
Yeah, he did it.
Okay. Oh, I can't click on the link.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay. Hit me.
In Venice,
In Venice.
the water is very clear, isn't it?
Yes.
And dolphins were spotted in the water
Right.
during lockdown.
During lockdown, oh, okay. Because first I would say, no, it's not believable at all, because normally Venice isn't that clear, but over lockdown it's cleared up.
Okay.
But the way that you said okay makes me think that maybe you thought I'd just ruined your story, but then saved it. But also, I heard you laughing when you were finding these stories. I don't know. Look at me in the eye and read the story to me again.
Venice is the clearest.
Look at me in the eye.
I have to read it.
I don't care.
Venice is the clearest it's ever been in 60 years.
True.
And the dolphins have been spotted down in southern Italy, swimming in the clear water every cloud.
Well, yeah, I think that's true, because you're not going to write a whole article. Yes, true. I think dolphins may have been spotted.
It's false.
Why would you come up with that?
I found it online of
Okay.
fake news stories that happened during COVID.
Oh, it is the clearest it's been in 60 years that I've been looking at pictures of it. I really like Venice.
So yeah, there you go.
I'm not happy.
I'm winning.
You are. Okay, I got a story for you.
2-1.
What?
Don't mind that, carry on.
Okay. Australia is moving further north, meaning that people using sat-navs might struggle to find their way around.
False.
You're saying it's false, are you?
Where
Why?
does sat-navs come into it?
Any questions? Because sat-navs use location, and it's moving further north, which means sat-navs are starting to be wrong.
Sat-navs are going to move further north if it's doing
Why?
location.
No, because they've already got the location.
The sat-nav's making me doubt, but I can believe that it's moving.
Well, what are you saying? Do you want to ask more questions?
How much is it
I
moving?
don't know. It's moving further north.
False.
You're saying it's false?
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fascinating. You ready?
Yes.
I've got 2 really funny ones.
I'd like to cite my source for the Australia moving north thing. It was BBC Bite Size.
That could be fake.
BBC Bite Size, not Daily Mail.
Trump was fooled into having a phone call with Piers Morgan on Air Force One.
Oh. Right. Trump is thick. So's Piers Morgan. Did Piers Morgan fool him into having it?
No, just a random guy pretended to be Piers
Oh,
Morgan.
pretending to be. Okay. Because now I think that's more believable.
Okay.
Because I don't think Piers Morgan could get hold of Trump.
Okay. They used to be friends.
Yes, but so did Piers Morgan and Meghan
Meghan
Markle.
Markle.
Now they don't talk. That was funny. I was proud of that. Oh, it could be true. Give me some more details.
Okay.
What did he do it for? Who's the guy?
It doesn't say.
What does it say?
It was when he left the White House.
That's false.
He left the White House for the last time on Air
False.
Force One. When he realised she's been scammed.
False.
False?
False.
It's true.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Piers Morgan says it was hilarious.
But he has weird views of comedy.
Apparently Trump and Piers fell out.
Yeah.
There's not much information on it.
Well, that's a bit disappointing. Maybe you've been fooled.
Morgan said the 74-year-old had been a useless leader because of the character for...
Well, that's correct. So
There we go.
that's what they say about Piers Morgan and broken clocks, though, isn't it? Even a stop clock is right twice a day. What?
You might want to cut this out. It's a bit controversial at the time. In March last year, Prince Harry was reportedly tricked into speaking about his decision to quit the royal family by a Russian hoaxer supposing to be environmental activist Greta Thunberg.
Oh, see now, and even though you said it's true, I don't think I could believe that Prince Harry would talk to Greta Thunberg about whether she, like, why he left.
Have you got another one?
No.
I have one more.
Okay, go on.
Okay. A man hands himself in to the police because he couldn't cope with the people he was doing lockdown with.
I've heard this one. Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. Yeah. That he said that he'd rather go back to prison rather than spend another day in his flat.
Yeah.
Didn't I send you that post on an Instagram thing the other day? I sent it to someone. I might have sent it to Joe.
So yeah, that's been the game.
That has been the game.
That's been really fun.
It has. I think we should do that every week.
Every week?
Yeah, we could do it every week.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, that's been the podcast.
It has been the podcast. Should we transition really smoothly into an intro?
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation where you mention something about leaving.
I'm hungry.
You're hungry? Well, Rach, what an amazing coincidence. We're at the end of an episode.
Oh my days.
Thank you so much for joining us this week, for listening to us, for hearing us talk for hours on end.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying I love you. That's what Alexa sings if you say I love you to Alexa.
Yeah.
It's my favourite trick.
Sad that you know the words.
I say it to her a lot.
That's even sadder.
And then she sings, thank you for saying I love you. You're just as sweet as pie.
Anyway, that has been Why Not the Podcast. Thank you for listening. I've been Rachel.
And Ben.
See, now you're doing it again, grammatically incorrect. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for saying I love you.
Bye.
Goodbye. We're going to go watch Moana. Bye-bye.